Alright, welcome back to the Fixing Pokemon series, or the Pokemon But They Actually Make Sense series, except if you're not new to this, you know that that's really just a code name for what this series really is, which is just making Pokemon Evolution Line color schemes match. But as I say every time, and I'm only going to keep saying it in case you're new, I'm only not calling it that second thing because it sounds a lot less appealing, obviously, and a lot less complicated, so this is what it's called. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is the Kalos region. There's a few things to cover. As usual, I'm leaving out anything that didn't really change too much when I applied the colors. And the way I'm doing this, as of the Hoenn video, not only am I applying the first stage to the second and third stages of the evolution lines, but I'm also applying the third stage colors to the first stage colors. So to get into it, here is Chespin and Chesnaught. I left Quilladin out, not because it's the worst middle stage ever, which it is, but that's not why I left it out. I left it out because it didn't change much. Chespin actually kind of reminds me of how Chimchar came out in the Sinnoh video. They both have like pure white inner layers, but then a solid colored outer layer that is sort of the color of their type. It's not too bad. Chesnaught, I honestly kind of like. It's not too much of a change, though, but it is still pretty cool. It makes it look a little more rustic with the white taken out and more browns added, if that makes any sense. Which I guess works better for its more powerful appearance. Moving on, we've got Scatterbug. I didn't do Spupa since it pretty much has the same exact color palette, and I didn't do Vivillon because I can't admit, in this case, I guess it wouldn't make sense to apply a caterpillar's colors to a butterfly. Even I can admit that, despite what I've done in this series. But what I did do is take Vivillon's colors of its wings in all of its different forms, or not all of its forms because there's way too many, but just a few of its different forms, and I applied them to Scatterbug's little neck collar thing to make it look like there's unique Scatterbug forms to apply to each Vivillon form. So, no idea which ones these are supposed to be. I'll have to search through the designs and just put them up on screen because I don't know them off the top of my head, nor do I know what colors they are. The only one I know for certain is that top right one is the regular Vivillon colors, and I think the one next to it is the sunset one, or not the sunset one, like the sun one. But I'm not going to jump to any conclusions here. This is just what I did with this. I thought it was a pretty cool idea to do multiple different ones since there's multiple Vivillons, but only one Scatterbug and Spupa. I didn't do Spupa, though. Maybe I could have, but it wouldn't have really been any different than what Scatterbug was here. Anyway, here's Skiddo and Gogoat. This is sort of just a bit of a color swap, obviously. Skiddo's alright. I honestly kind of like Gogoat, though, with the more whites applied to it instead of the tan, which is kind of the opposite of what I said for Chesnaught. I liked it more of the tans instead of the whites. But anyway, moving on, we've got the whole Honedge line. Honedge, I honestly think that looks really cool, especially with like the glowing purple eye that Aegislash usually has. Aegislash's colors are just a lot more like reminiscent of the ghost type and the trope that it's a cursed sword, while Honedge's aren't really. Like Aegislash with Honedge's colors, it still looks really cool, but it sort of just looks like a not cursed or not ghost type version of Aegislash. It's maybe like a regional form or something. And then Doublade with Honedge's colors, it's literally just two Honedges, because that's kind of what it is, just with a pink ribbon, but now it's the regular color. So anyway, here's Espurr and Meowstic. But this is female Meowstic with Espurr's colors, which does look pretty cool, because as I said many times in the last video, white shinies are always epic, and I'm pretty sure most people agree with that. But then I also made what would be a female version of Espurr, since Espurr, there's no gender difference, but Meowstic there is. So that's it with the female Meowstic colors. And then here's the same thing with the male one. You've got like the silvery male Meowstic, and then the Espurr with the male's colors. And something I want to point out, if I haven't made it clear, the point of this, and I've said this before, the point of this isn't just to swap their colors, it's to show like, alright, what would Espurr look like if it had Meowstic's colors? And let's just say the official line is there's two different Espurs. The one is the blue male one, and the one is the white female one. And then the Meowstics aren't the white ones that I made here, but they're still just the regular Meowstics. Or alternatively, Espurr still has its normal colors, and there's just one, and then both Meowstics go on to have its colors. So it's sort of just to show, like, alright, here's all of the possibilities for making the color schemes match, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm too not good at this to explain it better, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, here's Inkay and Malamar. Inkay looks pretty cool. I guess it looks better with its regular colors, just because its regular colors are kind of more cutesy, I guess you could say, especially for the eyes. But Malamar is pretty cool still. Not much else to say about it, though. Then we've got Dragalge, which really doesn't change much. It just adds some blue to it from Skrelp, which I honestly think looks pretty cool and kind of stands out from the rest of it pretty well. So that's pretty cool. Moving on, we've got Tyrunt and Tyrantrum. Honestly, this might not make any sense, but I like these better than the regular ones, which would imply that, at least in my eyes, Tyrunt is better of the red, and Tyrantrum is better of the brown, instead of vice versa. Even though kind of the point of this is to see, like, alright, would it look better if they were both Tyrantrum's red, or both Tyrunt's brown? But this is a little predicament, because I'm saying they're both better with each other's colors. So I don't know. Either way, they've got cool designs, I guess you could say. Moving on, we've got Pumpkaboo and Gourgeist. These dudes, or I don't know if I would call them dudes. Pumpkaboo, it still looks pretty cute. It's kind of like, since it has that aspect of a cat in it, it's more like a orange tabby now instead of a black cat. Gourgeist is also kind of cool. I think it would make more sense like this, honestly, because now the upper body, which is kind of like a stem, is actually brown, and the lower body is actually pumpkin colored, and that's the pumpkin part. So that does make more sense, quite literally, like the title of this video did indeed say. And here we've got an alternate version I made, just taking a little more creative liberty, giving it, like, more blonde hair taken from the glowing yellow portions of the pumpkin, which looks better, but technically if I was just translating the colors of Pumpkaboo onto Gourgeist, it would have been the first image that are literally Gourgeist with Pumpkaboo's colors, but this is just a more, a unique take on it, I guess. Then we've got Noibat and Noivern. Noibat, with how small it is with these colors, it is a lot to take in, but it's still pretty cute with these colors and doesn't look too bad. And Noivern, even with the more simplified color scheme, because its regular color scheme, as I just said, there's a lot going on, but it works better with a bigger design like Noivern, where there's more room to spread it across. Noivern still looks pretty good if Noibat's colors, if you ask me. Kind of makes it look more like a gargoyle, just because it's more like pale and grayish. Then moving on, I skipped out on this somehow, even though it's like the most important one. Greninja and Froakie. Greninja doesn't look too bad. Obviously, it's got a lot more white in it, and white shinies are epic. And I should note, it's not just white shinies. White shinies are epic, black shinies are epic, gold shinies are epic. That sounded so weird. It's like I'm trying to eliminate discrimination against shiny colors. Pretend this never happened. Anyway, yeah, that doesn't look too bad. And then Froakie, if Greninja's colors, honestly looks a lot cooler, especially with the pink eyes. It looks more like they're glowing or something. And then lastly, we've got Fletchling and Talonflame. Fletchling isn't too bad. It now has the inverted eye colors that Talonflame has, of the white outsides and the black pupils, instead of just black with the white glistening thing. And then Talonflame, again, it's got more aspects of white in it, and white shinies are always epic. But maybe not in this case, because this isn't really white. I'm saying, like, if a shiny is primarily white, like shiny Gengar, that looks really cool. Or if it's primarily black, like Haxorus, that's really cool. Or if it's primarily gold, like Love Disc or something. That's pretty cool. But anyway, this Talonflame isn't bad regardless of that. There's not too much to point out for the Fletchling, though. And then with all of that said, that's just about all of it. There was a lot I had to cut out because it didn't change much. In fact, some of the ones I cut out kind of last second. I was going to show Barbaracle and Binacle and a few other ones that I had ready to include, but then I just kind of realized, why did I do this? This is quite literally not different at all, so I left them out. But there's still a decent amount of things that you saw in this video, so that's good, I guess. For now, though, I will be moving on to Alola next week, and then Galar, and then Paldea, and then I'll be moving on to what is probably the most insane, and by insane I don't mean cool, I mean crazy. And by crazy I don't mean cool, I mean what am I doing kind of crazy series I've ever done. And probably the most time-consuming one, too. So, until then, you'll be seeing what that is eventually. But for now, if you liked this one, consider liking, commenting, subscribing.